right, everyone on Zoom here?
Hi, Erica.
Hi, Zoomland.
Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
Let's close this door.
Hi, Jenny.
I just wanted to say something quick. I appreciate that you guys are getting started with open houses, and I really appreciate that you guys want to learn how to do it the right way to get though. Because business was kind of slow for me when I started during COVID, and then as soon as we started doing open houses, my first client ever I got from my first open house, and that was my first transaction ever. So open house has really jump-started my career and helped change my life. So props to you guys for being here.
Thank
everybody
you.
for attending today. Farmer,
I know, I'm here moderating. Thank you for the Triple J threat for joining us and leading the open house clinic day 2 from 10 to 11. You guys, everybody that's in Zoom or in the office should be so grateful that you've got these 3 superstars here to share their knowledge about having a successful open house. So guys, just to let you know, Jonathan, Jose, and Jenny, yesterday, Rich brought us from procuring an open house, identifying an open house, getting the flyers ready, door knocking around the neighborhood, etc., all the way up until the day of the open house. So today we would just love for you to mastermind and tell the team how you host a successful open house from your day of prep, meaning when do you leave? What do you take with you? How do you put out signs? How do you get the house ready? To everything from conversation, scripts during the open house, as well as just winding it down. I'm going to let you guys take charge, and thank you again for being so gracious for hosting.
Thanks, Farm. So thank you for the intro. Thank you for the caught up. I hope you guys had a great class yesterday. It's definitely a step-by-step. So definitely 1, identifying your open house. 2, doing the necessary work of your flyer drop off, promoting it to make sure you come to the open house. Now today we're gonna go over, what you're gonna do when you get to the open house, which is a big question. We get a lot of people saying, hey, what do I do when I'm actually there? That's what it is today. So introduce yourselves. My name is Jose. I've been in the business for about 5 years now. I'm actually part of Farm's teams. Again, thanks Farm for the intro. We got Jonathan, if you guys don't know, in the office, second J. And then we got the rookie of the year, the all-star, the one and only, Jenny from the block. We got a lot of good value here, guys, so we appreciate Zoomland, everybody here. Open house is one, it's free. 2, it's the quickest way to finding people who are actually interested in real estate. And 3, follow. So we'll get into this. So as you know, yesterday you kind of went over procuring, which is marketing. So I'm going to actually send this off to Jenny because she is a great marketer, which you're going to learn a lot from her. Jenny?
So everything I do is very marketing based. I like to make everything beautiful and pretty. And so that's kind of where my little kitsch is. So if I can make an open house stand out from everybody else's, I will and I want to. So let's see. First of all, I just want to say I always get there at least 45 minutes to an hour early, and I know that maybe seems like a lot, but you don't know, like once you get to an open house, time goes so fast. You want to make sure that you're having enough time to put out your signs. So when it comes out to my signs, I do about 10 signs. I need more. I actually need to go get a bunch more, and I'm redoing my signs anyways. But I also love to put balloons. Not just balloons, but like the sparkliest, glitteriest balloons that will catch everybody's attention. So
Happy face.
Happy face. Yeah. So anything I do, I want to do it like extra because that's just kind of me. And I have a 20-year background in sales and marketing. So if I'm going to do anything, I want people to like it and smile when they see it. So even when it comes to signs, I put out as many signs as possible and make them as glittery and fun as possible. And by that, I usually do balloons. If you want to get some marketing tools, go to the SAR store. Do you guys know where the SAR store is? Okay, if you don't, it's over off of Howe, and I'm trying to think what the crossroad is. Arden and Howe-ish area. It's right where the Sacramento Association of Realtors is, so it's where you get your MLS boxes. You sign your MLS things out, but they have a really store. And I got a really big, cool open house flag that's huge, and they come in different colors, and it says open house agent inside, and just anything like that. I think that you can do to draw attention to, people driving by, but also neighbors, because one of the big things about doing houses is you want to get listings from neighbors. That's an extra special bonus if you get that. So that's one of the things I do. I also there's a website called All Things Real Estate. That's really fun, and it's a bunch of signs. And so I get this big red location sign, kind of like the thing they have on maps, and it says, "Welcome to your new home," and it looks like you've arrived at your new home. And I put that in the front yard of all my open houses. So I mean, again, it's just kind of cute, and you're like, "Oh, I've arrived at my new home," and so all these are the things that I love doing. Let's see here. Also, if you follow me on social media, I also love celebrating my buyers, and I have invested in a red carpet and a bunch of red rope stanchions and a glitter red carpet specifically because I love glitter. And so some of my open houses, I actually do the red carpet. So when people are walking up to the open house, they're walking on a glitter red carpet, and there's red ropes, and it just makes them feel fun and special. And I'll tell you, there's not one person that has walked in through a red carpet that is not smiling and happy already. And it also shows that you're doing these things. If it's a potential listing from the neighborhood, it's showing these potential clients, listing clients, that you do a lot. Like you do a lot as far as marketing goes, and how good of a job are you going to do marketing their home if you were to be selected to sell. So this is why, like, everything I do comes from a place of being and being fun, because I think, if you're fun, people are happy with you. So
people buy off emotions as well. So that's Jenny. She's great at that because she makes it feel important. She makes them feel good. If you have not seen what she's done on social media, I'm jealous of the stuff she does because she makes me want to go, and I didn't even buy the house, but with the red carpet, the ropes, she do the bow. It's phenomenal. And as we know, marketing is very important, especially when it comes to listing as well. As she mentioned, she's great. You can see her on social media, and she does a fantastic job. Sure.
So I'm also very into themes. Like I really want to start doing a themed. I know Kendall did an open house at one of my listings, and it had a really cool tropical backyard, and she did we did a Friday open house, and she did a tiki preview night, and we had, like drinks and like tiki type of drinks, and it was kind of like tiki themed. We had leis and flowers in our hair, things like that, because it was such a cool tropical background. And then the next day was Mother's Day, so she did mimosas for moms. And so I've seen one that was mimosa and muffins. So if you're doing one on a Saturday or Sunday, you go to Panera and get some little muffins and bring, some orange juice and some champagne, things like that. I just think like anything like that you can do to be fun. I have not done this since COVID has, allowed us to do open houses, but what I think would be really cool is to do a neighborhood preview night, a wine and cheese neighborhood preview night. And it would be cool to actually get specific signs. And I've seen this done, and it's really cool that you put out in the neighborhood, and it just says VIP event for neighbors only. So you're making it exclusive. And then, of course, they're going to want a wine and cheese preview night exclusive for neighbors only. And you would have previously probably gone and put out invitations on their doorstep, but having specific signs and making it, feel really special for the neighbors to come check it out before any of the public gets to check it out. So that's one of my next things I really want to do. So,
Jenny, you mentioned you put out about 10 signs. Jonathan, Jose, is that pretty much what you follow along? And how do you guys determine where these signs go? What are some things that the team here should know about sign placement for the day of the event?
For me, one of the biggest things is where the house is at, right? If it's like on a pretty main street, you can get away with honestly 15 signs and you have a pretty busy open house. But if you're a little bit deeper, like I did one for Pocket for you guys. I think I was like 22 signs, and I was starting to get worried. I was like, man, did I bring enough signs? Because it was pretty deep in the neighborhood.
Did you say 22 signs?
Yeah.
I don't have 22 signs.
Highly recommend investing in signs. Minimum is 10, but the more you can do, the better, because the many eyes you can see it. gotta go, the better traffic.
Get tactical with it. If you only have 10 signs, if that's all you have, drive around. What I do is you want to put like 4 on the main street, and then if I feel like I'm running low on signs, I hit every intersection, whether it's a stop sign or they can turn left or right. So I don't want them guessing. Well, that sign is right there. Do I keep going straight? Do I keep going right or left? So that's why I hit intersections and any 4-way stops. And just be smart with it, and you can make for it for sure.
Coming from the perspective of an impatient driver, if I
Yes.
get lost, I'm done. I'm not going to that open house.
And the best feedback you can get on your sign placement is the people coming in.
Yeah.
So I was like to ask them, hey, how did you find the open house today? Actually, I was just driving, found your sign. Great. Was it easy to find the house? They're like, you did great. Thank you for the feedback, because that's the feedback you want and really matters. Is you want people who are going to come in with no agents who are just driving around. It could either lead to a listing or somebody just looking to shop for open house, and they're able to find you without going on MLS or directed by an agent, because that is business. So oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Sure.
So what do you do if there's like house open
Nice.
in like one street or around the area?
Take them out.
So, so that does happen, especially now in the summertime. You're going to get that quite a bit. So with that being said, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
So if that house has maybe 5 and you're saying, okay, well, I'm seeing one every 5-10 minutes, great, that's my opportunity. That's why you need to have more, because I want them to see my sign more than they see theirs. Because that's really it's going to come down to, great, if I'm seeing all these signs, I'm going to go to that one as well, but I'm going to go over here as well. So that's where it's a numbers game. This business is a numbers game if it's either clients or it's fitting your signs out.
Do any of you use balloons on your signs?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Those
I
are,
was just wondering, yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I have been.
anything
But
to
then half
stand
of the
out.
time, especially when it's windy, like they're all gone.
Yeah, it depends on the
Like,
weather.
okay, do I?
So as for signs too, so as I mentioned, I do probably between 10 and 15. I need to buy some more, so I wanted more depending on the street. And kind of piggyback where Jonathan went, I really want it to be, when I'm looking to where to put my signs, yes, I want to put on the main street. So I want to have it on each side, so that way they don't come into the street. I always look for place markers, you could say. So if it's a stop sign or if it's a corner where they have to stop, I want to be able to be in a position to where if they have that 5-3 seconds, they see my sign. And I want to make sure that you can clearly see it on both sides. So what I mean is that I'm going to put it right on the corner because I want traffic that's coming this way and traffic coming this way to easily read my sign because I want to capture as much people as I can. Now, yes, you want to go about 45 minutes to an hour earlier because you want to give your site some time. And then if you have not, sometimes you may not go flyer drop off. Yes, you should. Always put that part of your procedures. However, you need to give yourself time to know where you're going to lay it out. So as you're driving, go on the main road, and this is where most traffic's going to come through. If you come to the back and you're like, oh, well, I see you can come in both ways, but I see traffic coming from here. You always want to make sure that you know where you're going, put the signs, and then take a drive around again to make sure, as the client, can I easily see this? Oh, wait, I need to place my sign out a little more. Yes, you might become a little OCD on that, and that's okay. You want everybody to have a clear vision of where your open house is, and you want it to be easily found. I've had somebody I did an open house on Sunday, and they're like, hey, I love your signs. I easily was able to find your open house, whereas sometimes it's I see the signs and I get lost where I'm at. You always want that feedback. So again, signs, he does 22, it's a rock star. 10 to 15, I would say, more so, the more the better.
I think 15 is kind of a sweet spot if it's like I said, not too deep in there.
And these are crucial, guys, because you need people to find where your open house is. So you need to make sure you have signs. If you don't have any, as Jenny said, go to SAR. You can buy some standard
Yep.
for sale ones.
Very
They're probably about,
inexpensive.
what are they, like $10 a piece?
Yeah.
Or you need custom ones as well. As you start progressing. you custom
Ideally,
ones.
you want something that has your name and your number on it, because then people in the neighborhood can write it down.
Especially if you're doing like a gated community. Right. I had borrowed my cousin's signs before I had mine. People were blowing them up because they couldn't get into the gate, and I was like, man, my open house is dead. And it was because people couldn't get the access. So that's for like I said, gated communities, that's a big help for sure.
But don't let that stop. If you're like, I have an open house this weekend, I didn't order any custom signs. No, go buy some. You're just investing in your business.
Yep.
Because once you have those for sale signs, then you buy your own signs, guess what? You have twice as many. Farm, did we cover on your question? Did we skip anything on that?
No, you did great, team. So you put out the signs, you identify where you need them. So do you guys generally, and we'll wrap up this conversation, do you drive the neighborhood the day before if you're not familiar with it? Is it the morning of, just to make sure that you're hitting it from all different angles, just to make sure that the sign placement is good?
Sometime during that week, yes. You don't
Okay.
want it to be that you have the open house where you're driving around, because you want to be able to identify, where am I going to put my signs? Where am I going to see the most traffic? So it's either the day before or sometime that week. Make sure you do that.
And for those
I have
of
a
you that
terrible
were
sense.
on the call yesterday, a great time to do that is when you were, guess what? Handing out flyers the day before, right? So now, Triple J, you've got your signs, you arrived about an hour early to get your signs up. Walk us through, when you're there at the house, what are you trying to do to make sure that the house is inviting, it's welcoming? What do you set up at the home? What are you checking for, etc.?
So because I also do staging and I love interior design, and so this is super important. Go through the house first thing and turn all of the lights on. I cannot tell you from a design standpoint how important light is. So even if you have a listing and it's kind of dingy, go get lights and bring lights. Light is so important. So turn all the lights on, open all the blinds. If it lets more light in, don't just open them, but pull them up. Whatever you can do to pull more light in. If there's any candles to be lit, obviously, like, certain people have sensitivities to smell, but as we all know, sometimes we get into an open house and we're like, ew, it smells like gross, or like cats, or like they just cooked bacon all morning or something. So, I always have a nice scented candle that isn't too harsh and overpowering. But do that. If there's anything that, like candles that have batteries, turn those on.
Be mindful of
I also,
candles, guys. You guys know this. Jenny's experienced. If you light a candle, make sure that you blow it out before you leave. Make sure that if you do have candles, that guess what? They're in your line of sight, so that we don't have any issues on the property with kids accidentally knocking something over or anything to that effect. So just be mindful. Anytime you bring something to someone's property, what should you always ask yourself?
Is this gonna?
What could
It might not
potentially
be.
go wrong with this? Like, if I'm serving mimosas, am I prepared to go pay for carpet cleaning if something spills, right? If I've got a candle, am I going to be mindful enough to make sure that it doesn't get knocked over and that there's nothing that's melted or a fire caused, right? If I'm doing something or bringing something, do I have the backup plan? Like, do I have the napkins? Do I have the paper towel? So just be mindful of that, which I'm sure these folks are going to bring. Just like they have signs, guess what? I bet you all three of these folks keep in their trunk. I know Jose's already on it. I bet you he's got like his little toolkit, so they'll go over that. But continue, Jenny. You're doing fantastic. Thank you.
oh, music also. So light, making sure it smells okay. And when I do a candle, I do it right by my sign-in sheet. So I don't ever light a candle that is literally not next to me, by the sign-in sheet. And music. I think music is really important. It doesn't need to be overpowering, but just something in the background, because sometimes it gets, there's an awkward silence sometimes in an open house. And so, something lighthearted, jazzy, when the open house I did that really cool pool, we did Hawaiian music and it was really fun. It just creates a mood. We want a happy, fun mood.
Remember, it all falls back to emotions. People buy emotions. If you step into the house and you don't like the smell, what are you gonna feel? Not a good emotion. I don't like this.
Oh, I walk into house. I'm very sensitive to smell, and when I walk into a house, even when I'm showing houses, and there's a smell that is gross, I can't even continue.
You don't even want to make it through it.
I'm
It's a great house, but the smell throws you off.
I've also always wanted to do this. I used to work in new home building, and what we used to do in the new home building sales offices, do you remember Otis Spunkmeyer, those little cookies?
Yeah.
They used to have a little Otis Spunkmeyer oven,
Yeah.
and what we would do in the sales office is bake cookies. And so I kind of want to try, I need to make sure I don't burn them though, like the smell of home fresh baked cookies when somebody's walking into your open house. I always thought that would be something fun to try. And then you serve those cookies, with little beverages or waters. So
So recap, so remember guys, to turn on all the lights, open up all the windows, like Jenny said, light. Candles are good too, just be cautious, wintertime, don't come with pumpkin spice because maybe somebody might like that. Make them very light. Open up all the windows, open up the doors. I like to get as much fresh air in the house because if it's vacant, it might have a stagnant smell to it. That's why you want to get there a little early so you can open up all the windows, turn on all the lights. During COVID, we had to open up all the doors so we had people to touch as least minimal items as they can. And cookies are always great too.
I like to leave the front door open. I like to prop the front door, back door, because I think a closed door is kind of standoffish. When the door is closed, I always have people knocking, "Oh, are we allowed to come in? Can we come in?" I said, "Of course, it's open house, but if the door is wide open, they can just come in and out as they please." It just looks better and also helps with the brightness,
Yeah, people think when the door's open, oh, let's go. Part of my section, a great theme that I don't think they went over yesterday, we should talk about this today. We're talking about procuring and setting up an open house at the same time. You have to get set up for the open house. And so what that means is that you should have like an open house toolkit. What that is that maybe it's gonna involve toilet paper, paper towels, maybe have some Clorox wipes. You're gonna have stuff that when you go to open house, if there's no paper towels, no toilet paper, don't get me wrong, people tend to not use that, but you're gonna have an incident, even if you're touring it with a family, a kid's gonna be like, "Oh, it is a bathroom." We're gonna say, "There's no toilet paper. I'm sorry." You want to be the person like, "Bing, don't worry, I got some in my car." Also, booties, masks, hand sanitizer,
Measuring tape.
measuring tape.
Measuring tape. Yeah.
And then also keep in mind for yourself, you're sitting here for 3 hours, you're actually preparing an hour after, that's about 5 hours. And if you have a busy open house, you're going to talk, you're going to get tired. So you need to bring your snacks. It's water, juice, protein bars, stuff like you're there. As we know, this is not a physical job, it's a mental tiring job. So wouldn't you hate to not be prepared and you had a good client and because you couldn't go for the clothes because you're tired? It's a lost opportunity. So definitely have your provisions that you need for the house and also have your provisions that you're going to need in order to maintain your stamina and talk.
also, one thing I do, being a mommy, the SAR store has these little bears that they have a little shirt on them and it has just the realtor logo. And so I always have a couple in blue and a couple in pink in my car, and it would be a good thing to even have in your toolkit for the open house. Because like if I'm showing houses, and unfortunately sometimes they have to bring their kids, whether to a showing or to an open house. If I have one of those and the kids just being like a butthead and crying or whatever, like I can pull one of those out and be like, "Here you go," and it has saved our butt. And I can see that being something to be having at least one of those in your toolkit in case somebody comes in that they really want to see the house and the kid is just totally distracting them. Here's a little bear, and they're not that expensive just to have a couple in your car.
One thing I want to say is remember who wants your business. Title and escrow reps, they can give you the booties and they can give you first-time home buyer guides that you can set out on the tables to make it look like you're providing value to your clients, little tips and stuff like that. Lenders, they can make you some pretty nice flyers for the day of open house. Really good looking stuff that you could hand out, save yourself, the 7 cents for color printing paper.
And also, provisions, even though we're in a time of with COVID, it's getting better, still always keep guys because we've been noticing every doing open houses, they want you to have your COVID supplies. That's again, booties, hand sanitizers, masks. Have extras because if you could provide it to somebody who comes in, one, if it's a listing that you possibly get, they're going to like that you're being cautious. And two, you want to make sure you do a good job because you don't want to be one, if you're doing open house for another agent, you want to show them what you're doing, and then two, you want to be respectful of the owner. Pardon me.
I think kind of jumping back to the teddy bear in the trunk, it's really, people are going to remember you by how you make them feel, right? And if they go into that open house and the only thing they're thinking about is their shrinking kid, they're not going to remember that open house. They're not going to remember you. But if they remember, oh wait, that realtor was so nice and gave my kid a teddy bear, and that's just one example of it. What can you do to make them remember you and you put them in a good mood? Like they're emotionally connected to you.
So Jenny, she's great at that. It's all the tips she's giving us regarding all the little fine things. Don't get me wrong, you're like, it's just an open house. I just got to show up. But these little extras set you apart from the next person. sets you apart. If you have multiple signs, there's multiple houses in the same house, that's gonna set you apart with your signs and the little extras that you do in the other.
Even just having waters will make a big difference on a hot day at your open house. They'll even just appreciate that. You know, people come in. I've had people ask me for water and I didn't have it. I'm like, oh, what's that? Should that?
And then if you come across situations, notate that for the next time.
Carry a mask in your pocket anyways, because you don't want to lose a buyer, potential buyer, because they walk in, they're wearing a mask. Kind of play it by ear. You know, if they're not wearing one, you don't want to wear one, you know, cool.
Yeah.
But if they are wearing one, maybe just throw it on and make them feel comfortable.
Because that's also gonna build.
One thing I can think of to put in your toolkit, unless you've already said it, is a tape measure. Because I swear to God, 50% of the time
Yeah.
when people are in there looking at a house, they say, "Do you have a tape measure?"
Yep.
Because they want to measure will their couch fit or will the refrigerator fit.
And if you don't have it at the time, if you have an iPhone, they have a measuring app. Don't be wrong, it may not be fully accurate, but it's like, I always like to, it gives you a giggle. And so I'm doing that report. Help, don't worry. I got it right here. What do you need? Oh, okay, this guy is prepared. I'm like, it may not be accurate, it's close, but it's better than not having one right now.
But as a real estate agent, you should actually go get
You
one
should.
and always have it in your glove box. I can't tell you how many times that's like one of my most important tools.
Yeah, there's definitely essentials that we need as agents. Maybe we can do another class, or maybe we can do like a list of like what we recommend, and you pick up what you feel you should have. Because trust me, it definitely comes in handy.
Have your own little real estate bug out bag.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll have a contest. We'll have a contest. You guys bring in all your kids separate. We'll vote on it.
Okay.
There you go.
I think I want to
So-
do my signs.
Mine might be white called.
Besides the refreshments, guys, what do you guys have at the open house, if anything? Like, are you the type that is gonna have printed flyers? Do you like to go digital? Do you use an app to have people sign in? Tell us a little bit more now that you've got the home set up. So you got your music, you got your lighting, you got the doors open, you've tidied up. If there was someone that left something crazy somewhere where it shouldn't have been or whatnot, what do you have on the counter besides refreshments? And how are you getting people to sign in?
Okay. I'll get into that, but you made me think it's something important when you're talking about like tidying up.
Uh-huh.
So it is very important that you have your paper towels and toilet paper and you kind of do a walk around before you actually even get started. Because there's times that I've ran and there might be a cockroach. You know, I've seen that in a closet where I went and I seen an open house with somebody and I was like, hey, can you get that? Because that's not going to give the experience to people. It could be because they have the door open and it's just obviously going to get bugs in there. So always do a walk around. Sometimes maybe the owner might leave a dish in the sink.
Yeah.
You know, get that, put that away. Or maybe they might have had breakfast this morning and all of a sudden they ran off and they couldn't wipe down the counter. Have this clear across, wipe everything down because you want them to have that good experience. So do you guys want to lead first on what you do, or do you want me to kind of jump into it?
As far as like signing in and how do we get the info? and
Your,
things like
well,
that.
your preparation, like what do you have? So
I wanted to show people this.
when I go, well, you set that up. When I go, I'm very minimal. Of course, I've done a lot of open house, so my objective is to get people through the door and go for the close. So when I go there, I have an app. I bring my tablet. It's called Open House Pro. You know, right now you can either do an app on your phone, probably not your phone, maybe a tablet, or even bring a sheet. Jenny's very good at. She likes people to have them sign in, but remember you got to kind of stay on that and review it before they leave to make sure you have all the information. I have an app. I feel that I enjoy it a little better. Reason being is that it's automated. Now, as we all know, when we do stuff online and it says next, there's a high chance you're going to click next. It's going to ask for the question, next, ask for the question, next, finish. All right, I'm done. I like doing this because that's just something that I feel that I've got better conversion. And before, I got tired of looking at handwritings, and I have a sloppy handwriting. So I'm like, how do you say your last name? And then I kind of lose that rapport because now I'm asking the questions on correct information. Jenny?
So I'm old school, and I love tactile things. Like I love reading books that I can touch. You know, I'm not as much into the digital thing because I just think there's something to be said. So like I have either brochures or printed flyers, things they can touch, things they can take home. As far as the sign out sheet, I use a paper because I have used apps in the past, and sometimes they don't always, like sometimes they crash or they don't work or don't save. One thing I learned in my past life, I managed a winery. We had a wine club we would want everybody to sign up for. And we always had, a brochure and say, okay, enter your credit card information and your name and all that stuff. And I could not ever read anybody's writing. And, most of the times they were drunk. So had even worse writing. But what I learned is what my tactic is like, okay, let me get your information. And I would be the one writing down their name and their phone number and their credit card number, because then I knew that I could read, my writing. And so that's what I started doing. Even though I have a paper sign-in sheet, I would say, let me get your information so I can contact you back. What is your first name? How do you spell that? And I would write it. And then what is your email? And so I think I had a lot better success rate, even though I'm doing it old school, if I'm writing it. And then they're maybe less likely to give me the wrong information too.
It's whatever works best for you. There is no right or wrong way. It's a preference on how you feel you go about. Jenny, she's great at that. But yes, you do have to make it a habit. If you get a sign-in sheet, before they leave, review it. Make sure you got name, phone number, and address. Sometimes you may get one digit off. Hey, Bob. That way you can always refer to a certain name. Always call my first name. So as you see it shining, hey, Bob, I seen I got a one digit off. Can you tell me what's the correct number? Or hey, I can see the email is halfway. I probably got busy. Can you give me the rest of the information? So always make it a habit. You need to check it before.
One thing I like to do is, I don't know if you guys can see it from there, but I have a digital business card.
So do I.
And that is like the best way when they're done signing in, if you're not sure or if they feel like they're a really good lead. Hey, I have a digital business card. It has my number, my DRE number, my email address. Is it okay if I send that to you? That's a really good way to get their phone number and to reach out
What
to
program
them.
do you use for your digital business card?
Desiree made it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just a document.
Okay, so is it just an image?
Yeah, it's like this.
Because there's one that I use that is called ELIN. It's called Blink.
Nice.
And it's free, and it's kind of cool because it's just a link you send, and it has all the information. It's hyperlinked to your phone number, your email, your website address. It has all your information on it, and it's free. So a lot of times I will send that when following up with somebody from an open house.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't still have physical cards.
For sure.
Because again, there's people who don't want physical cards. They don't want tangible items. Like, hey, just go ahead and send me that. But at the same time, if I can hit you with both, here's my digital card. Here's my card. I want to make sure you have both.
And
My first priority is the digital because you get the number.
Correct.
totally, and that's why I like to do it. We're always, I'm sure we've all been in a place where we're like, oh my God, I don't have any cards on me, but I always have my cell phone on me, and I can always send that.
So, just kind of from this question, really the ultimate goal is, right, we want to come away with something that tells us who they are, and we want them to leave with something that tells us who we are.
Right.
Correct.
So are there anything else you use other than your business cards that they go home?
Correct. So part of that, our next segment, we're going to go into what do we do when we meet people and how do we get the
Yeah,
information?
absolutely. So now that we've obtained their information, what we're going to now spend some time on is how are we having conversations with folks? How do we overcome objections? Because you guys have seen it all. You got the people that are like ready to have the conversation with you. You've got the people that don't even want to sign in. You've got the looky-loos that don't want to address you, don't want to talk to you, just want to walk through the house and walk right back out. Can you look back at your open house experiences and tell us how you deal with certain clientele, what some of your most common objections or issues are during that conversation, and maybe a little bit of that script role playing?
I like to use relatability. If they come in, they're wearing like a 49er jersey, bring up football. This one guy, because I come from my dad had a mechanic shop before. This guy pulled up an old Ford truck. I was like, oh, hey man, I can hear that old 7.3 diesel from a mile away. He smiled, was talking to his truck. And then they walked away, and his wife comes up to me. Like 5 minutes later, she goes, do you have a business card? We need a buyer's agent. And I think we got in contract like a month later. But relatability is a big thing, especially like if they're kind of like standoffish. Just find something to talk to them.
And I think finding their name, the first thing I always do is, I introduce myself. I'm Jenny Sapien. I'm the listing agent, if I'm in fact the listing agent. And then I find out their name. And then I try to remember their name. And it is hard for me to remember people's names. So I try to, make sure I do remember their names. And it's hard when there's multiple people at your open house and you're trying to remember multiple groups of names. But there is nothing more important, I think, than remembering somebody's name and then using it in the conversation. It makes people feel so special and so important. So that's number one thing I do is first tell them my name and then find out what their names are. And then, like you said, find something to relate to them. Small talk. If they have kids, I'm always talking to the kids, like, how old are you? What grade are you in? And I think that makes people, it connects you to people because, or I talk about what grade my daughter's in, things like that. So I think that's really important to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is a people game. We want people to like you, and they're going to work with who they like and who they feel comfortable with. So
Correct. I always say you want to increase your numbers by learning how to get along with other people. If you're like, hey, I'm only going to get along with people who are like me, well, as we know, 1 out of 4 is 25 percentile in school. That's a failure. Your job is to get as many people to engage with you and understand how to talk with different people to increase your numbers. So going back, this is a numbers game. So with me, what I do is, Jenny hit on the nose. Yes, when you first go in, greet them. It's just like if you go into any store, you're going to get acknowledged. Hello, welcome in. Same thing. Acknowledge them. Introduce yourself. Ask them their name. If you're busy, say, hey, I'll be with you. Take a look around. I'll check back with you in the next few minutes, or if you have any questions. So what I do is that one is build rapport. Same thing they mentioned. When you come in, if it's relatability, acknowledge them, introduce yourself, and also know the information on the house. You're getting value as soon as they walk in. What I like to do is I do a screenshot. So I'll go on MLS because I want to be able to find information quickly. So a lot of times when you're fumbling, you're trying to, hold on, let me get that. They're like, okay, I'm going to go look around now. You just wrote that report. So what I do in preparation is I go on MLS, I screenshot. So that way I know how to get to my pictures. Hold on real quick. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1428 square feet, built in 1974, listed at $495. In addition, the lot size is about 5,700 square feet. And those make sense. A lot of times they're just numbers, but you're going to get that analytical person who's like, hey, thank you for that information, because I was actually looking for a medium-sized lot. Know that difference as well.
I kind of want to piggyback on that. Someone had mentioned, like, what do you do if there's a bunch of open houses? Learn those open houses too. Say, are you guys seen this house? Did you guys were you guys able to see the other one down the street? It's about similar size, about similar price, and they'll be like, oh, really? We didn't know that. Thank you. Know your competition as well, because you're adding value for them, and then.
But I'm not trying to steer them to open house. I'm trying to keep it my open house.
but if there are notable differences, it's good to know.
All right. How can I help you? I can show you afterwards.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you'd be surprised how many times you say that, and then you know more about that house than the agent was holding.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah.
Just adding value.
Well, and that's this really important point is to know the house. If it's your listing, obviously you're going to know most of the information, but if it's not, I always suggest printing out the disclosures, asking the listing agent if they're not already posted on MLS, do you have disclosures? At least the TDS and the SPQ. And I print a couple copies of those out because it's really important to know. People are always going to know or ask the following. So always know, ask the listing agent, how old is the roof? How old is the HVAC system? How old is the water heater? Where is the laundry room? I know, like, that sounds stupid, but, like, there was 2 houses that I couldn't figure out where the laundry area or room was. And, it wasn't my listing, obviously, but it should be one of the things you do when you first get there is, like, make sure you know, like, is the laundry inside? I felt so stupid one time when somebody said, where's the laundry room? I'm like, oh, it's back there. And it was literally somewhere weird in a weird part of the garage. And I didn't know that it wasn't an indoor laundry room. And so I know that sounds dumb, but like I didn't do my due diligence at the beginning and find out where was the laundry room. Also, where's the air conditioning? This is another, where's the AC unit? On older homes, it's on the top of the home. And like it took me a minute to realize that, no, it's not just on the side. It can also be on the roof.
Also, they want to know if the electric or gas hookups.
Yep.
And a lot of this you're going to know by getting inspections as you progress. You're not going to know a lot of this now. Like, how is the water heater? How about the HVAC? Where is it located? This is going to come with time as you're doing inspections. This is why you should always attend an inspection walkthrough so you get educated by the inspector so you know how to deliver the information.
Find out if appliances are staying. That's a big one. People always want to know that. If you don't know it, say, I'm not sure, but let me ask. If you're not the listing agent, I'll ask the listing agent for you.
I always like to make people laugh or smile. So with that being said, you know what? We're in California. Everything's negotiable with right offer, don't you agree? Yes. Building rapport. I'm still maintaining that rapport. So again, so people walk in, you maintain a rapport, that's the first thing. Okay, you do not ignore people, you introduce yourself, you introduce a house. You're gonna notice some people are gonna be like, hey, can you walk with me? Some are gonna like that. They're gonna want you to be right next to them touring the house. That's why you should know where it's at, as Jenny said. So hey, look at, garage is over here, laundry room's over here, kitchens are over here. It's a half bath, not a two bath. So as you build rapport, you're there as an agent, you're there spending 3 hours of your time. You're not there just to kind of shake hands and talk to people and then leave. No, your objective being there is one, search for listings and get appointments. The house is going to sell. So with that being said, you need to make sure you go for the close. And that's where the scripts are coming in, like Farm said, okay? You're there to work. You're not there to just kind of hang out, open the door, let people come in and close the door. When I first started, go ahead.
How do you get over the objection when someone says they don't want to sign in, Jose, or they're like, I don't want to give you my information?
So with me, when people, you're always going to get people like that. It's not saying you're not going to have that. That objection, to me, when I hear that, I haven't built rapport. I haven't gotten to that rapport stage yet. So if they first say no, great, that's okay. Can I have your first name? Oh, it's Bob. Great, I'm Jose. Take a walk around. I'm here to answer any questions. So as they come back and I start talking about the house, in my head, I'm thinking rapport, because that's my first step. So as I get into rapport and I pick up if they have kids or if they have a car or sports, you can identify that moment. You're like, great, I'm in there. At that point, I'm going to say, hey, Bob, with that being said, before you take off, I can see you didn't sign in. I would really love to or I would love to talk with you more if I could be of any help to you. With that being said, can I have you sign in? You're going to notice you're going to increase the odds of having them sign in as you get in that rapport. If somebody first walks in and you say, hey, sign in.
Yeah, that's annoying.
There's not a good chance. They're going to be like, no. And you can go with the script. A lot of us go, hey, someone wants us to have everybody sign in.
I say that. That's what I say.
And
However,
you guys have to use your personal judgment. Like you three are very educated and have good reads on people because it's about that relatability. For those new folks that are hosting open houses, read the client. Like if you feel comfortable allowing them to walk around
Right.
and then having them sign in, that's great. But if at any point, use your sixth sense. If you feel like this person is not there for the sole purpose of viewing the house to potentially purchase it, you need to have those antennas up, because during the open house, you are the key front face to protect that home and those sellers' belongings. So eyes need to be open, intuition needs to be alert. And what I mean by that, it is your job as an open house host to track what people are walking in with, what they're walking out with. Do pockets look fuller than they should? Are there people walking in with crate? You just gotta be careful, because your reputation of hosting the open house is very important to the agent that's allowing you to host it, as well as to the sellers, right?
This is why rapport is so important, because you're going to identify and scan them, you could say, as they come in to see, is this a person that should be here or are they something that should not be?
And as a side note, just know that in this day and age, most people have cameras inside and sellers are going to be watching. So just to kind of know, not that anybody's going to do anything shady, but just know that you may be being watched. I just go in every single time assuming I'm being watched. And I've had several times where my clients, or somebody was doing an open house for me and my clients have said, yeah, they did this and that. And they're watching the open house as it's coming, because obviously they want to see how many people are coming. What are they saying? But just know, like, somebody might be watching you, and just
Great point.
Don't do anything weird.
Great point. And when you see something weird, address it. You can't eliminate all issues, but you can at least show that you're trying to prevent them or minimize them. Would you agree?
Correct.
How about
Yeah.
some scripts and scripts of how you engage?
You got about what, 10 minutes left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do scripts for like 5 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes we'll open it up for like problems that you've encountered, like the top things that you've experienced or like open house nightmares.
Okay.
Let's
So,
talk about open house horror stories
as for
and
scripts-
how to prevent them, please.
okay, so as for scripts, again, your objective there is to get. So you need to be in script mode and know what you're going to say in order to get that appointment. As you get an appointment, you get close to a contract. So with me, there's 3 things that I follow. 1, build rapport. It's number 1. 2, I want to state my value. So as you're talking with them, getting rapport, hey, have you ever purchased a home before? No, first time, great. I love helping first-time buyers. I'm very big on education. Wouldn't you agree that educating you and giving you more info is going to make you feel more empowered to buy your next home and create a great experience? Yes. Boom, I gave my value, now I'm going to go for the close. With that being said, as you know, I'm at an open house right now. I can't give you my full attention, but I'd really love to sit down with you, go over the whole process, answer any questions that I can that you have, and give you my full attention. With that being said, what I do is I pull up my phone at that moment, because at that point I'm at the close. What's your availability, Monday or Tuesday, afternoon or evening, what works best for you? Wednesday morning would work great. Awesome. Wednesday at 10 works for you? Yes. Put it in my calendar, put it in your calendar, and what I do is I follow up with a text. I'm going to follow up saying, hey, it was great to meet you. Thank you for attending my open house today at XYZ. I look forward to helping you this Wednesday. I look forward to sitting down and talking with you and going over everything to make sure you feel empowered with buying your next home. I'll follow up the day before. Have a great day. And I always do that because you want to go there. You're not there just to open the house and show the house. The intention is to walk away with an appointment. And as we all know in buyer's consultation, when I taught that class, that's where that next step is going to come. So again, build rapport, build rapport, give your value. Say they bought a home before. Great, I love helping you. And you know what? I'm the agent for you because I'm going to find some homes and we're going to get out there and tour. Have you been pre-approved? I always ask for qualifying questions, which you're going to learn with time. So that way you know if this person is going to buy in the next 0 to 30 days, or are they going to be 12 months out? So that way you know how much energy to give these people. But at the same time, always go for the appointment. Why? Because you're going to add information to your database, and you're going to have an appointment which is going to take you one step closer to a contract. Build rapport, give your value, go for close.
I mean, he pretty much hit the head.
Yeah, I'm a lot. I'll say I'm a lot less structured than that. And there's, we all have our different ways of doing things. I'm a lot less structured. I'm more into the rapport and the relationship, and how can I come from a place of value and contribution. And I try to read people, and there's always going to be people who are just they're just there because they're a neighbor. They're just looking. They are not interested in selling their house. And they don't have a friend. So. So I always try to, close with, can I send you my contact information? What is your number so I can send you my contact information if you have any questions? And then I have their number, and then I can continue following up. So really, it's just rapport and following up, getting as much contact information as I can.
What would you say if someone came up to you and they're, hey, I just, kind of been thinking about selling my home. I just wanted to check it out, neighbor.
Great. So then I'm going to shift from a buyer to a seller qualifying questions. Now I'm going to ask them, say, hey, thanks for coming in. So what made you decide to cruise open houses today? I'm always trying to make people laugh or smile because that builds emotions.
For sure.
Oh, I'm just in the neighborhood. I live 2 houses down. Just kind of checking it out. Great. So may I ask, is there any particular reason were you considering possibly selling your home? Did you want to get an idea of what the current house is being sold for in this market? Tell me more. I'm always asking. I want them to talk to me. So I'm always going to tell me more, ask them open-ended questions so they respond to me. And so then I'll go from there, like, great, hey, Paul, take a look around the house. When you get done, I'm going to connect with you again. Let's talk about, see if there's a differences in your home. We can talk more. Let them do their roundabout, comes back, say, hey, Paul, what do you think of the house? Oh, that's very similar to mine. Okay, great. Now, Paul, so what's the difference from this house to yours?
My layout's a little different. I think my master bedroom's a little bit bigger, but smaller.
Great. How about the flooring? Is your flooring comparable to this, or is it better? Is it?
Oh no, I have a luxury vinyl.
Awesome, that's great. What color is it?
Black and gray.
Awesome. With that, of course, they get more questions in there. Great. From what I understand, it sounds like your house sounds primo. This house right now was selling it's listed at $495, and we've had a lot of traffic.
Yeah, my home was a model.
Was it really? Okay. With that being said, where do you plan on going?
I'm thinking about going to Texas.
Nice. What's taking you to Texas?
I love guns.
You love guns, okay. So, hey, I can totally understand out there. It's, you can like guns out here too. But is there anything like particular family, friends, work? What's taking you on?
It's taking me far away from my mother-in-law.
It's why?
Taking me far away from my mother-in-law.
Nice. Do you have any friends and family out there?
No, I don't do it.
So with that being said, you guys, you don't stop. You keep on digging deeper because you want to find the real motivation either between buying or selling. And that's a good moment because you're building rapport. They may just be that jokester. You're like, that's good to know. Hey, but really, like, what's taking you over there? Then they eventually will give you that motivation. Oh, I'm looking to retire. I got family out there, friends. I don't have anybody out here. Great. So you keep on asking the questions, the qualifying questions. And then again, I'm building rapport, checking out the value. Hey, I'll let you know as I'm going around, give you an idea. I'm going to go for the close again. So with that being said, Paul, hey, I'm done here at 2:30. I don't know if you're available. I'd love to come over and check out your house and get a more accurate view because as you know, I have to see your house to get an idea of how it's going to compare. Now, does that work for you today? He's probably like, no, I have plans. Great. You know what? Wouldn't you agree that it would be some value to you that I could come to your house maybe sometime Monday or Tuesday after time in order to kind of give you a valid idea to kind of see how your house compares to this house? And then with presenting the numbers and the figures, I can give you more of an idea if you want to sell your house. Wouldn't you agree, Paul?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. With that being said, afternoon and evening time, what works better for you?
I get off at 5, so let's say 5:36.
Perfect. 6 o'clock it is. I will follow up with a text. I'm going to send you today as well. It was great to meet you. Hey, Paul, you have a good day.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
So you keep it short because remember, you're at an open house. You're going to have other people come through, and you don't want to be rude and give him all your attention, which, yeah, is a valid client, but at the same time, your opportunity is good. So always ask the questions, always ask the qualifying questions, and don't forget, as we know, go for the close. Because as you get to appointments, it's going to lead you closer to a contract, either a buyer or a seller.
Yep.
So 2 things, guys. How do you close out the open house? What are some mindful things to do, like locking up and whatnot, right? And then what feedback do you provide to the listing agent whose open house you hosted?
I'll do a quick walk through the house, make sure there's no one hiding, things like that. Turn off all the lights, turn off the AC. Just make sure you're not gonna run up their electric bill or AC bill. Usually when I pick up my signs, I like to reach out to Palmer or Jose. They have their own list now. I pretty much copy and paste that for everybody. You want to tell them how many people you had come through, any positive feedback, and then separately you're going to give them any negative feedback, what you thought about the home, what you think about the pricing. Did you hear anybody that said if they're interested in putting an offer? They don't have to directly tell you, hey, I'm writing an offer. But if they're asking you, hey, what are offers due? That's the pretty telltale sign that they're probably going to write an offer. So those are good information you want to reach out to the listing agent after your open house and give that to them.
One thing to add on to that, 'cause you made me think of something. As people come in, ask if they have an agent.
Totally.
Sure.
That's like once you introduce yourself and say, hey, how'd you find the open house today? Oh, my agent sent me. Great, so you have an agent. We're not here to step on anybody's toes. But if they say, no, I just walked in, great. In my head, I'm like, so, how are you doing today? Because that's your opportunity. They're unrepresented. So you want to follow up with it to make sure that, hey, I'm here to help.
That's what you got in about the buyer console.
Correct.
Well, we're not calling it buyer console, we're calling it buyer type. There's a new word for it.
I call it a meeting.
Yeah.
Ask them the strategy section.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever took the time to sit down with you and
Perfect question.
One thing I wanted to add, not about after the open house, what I like to do, especially if it's my first time hosting for the agent, I like to let them know, hey, I'm here at the open house, I'm setting up, I just wanted to let you know that I'm here. Me personally, I was like wondering, like, oh man, did the guy show up? Did the guy show up?
Totally. 100%.
Yeah. I just give them that peace of mind.
And let them know that, hey, I'm here early, because that really looks good.
With that, when you access the lockbox, they're going to get notification. So if you access the lockbox at say your appointment's at 11:03,
2 minutes, yeah.
they already got a record that you're late.
Yeah.
So be mindful of that as well when you access the lockbox, because again, it's going to timestamp when you access it.
And also, like I said, sellers are watching. So when they're like, hey, your agent 5 minutes late, like that makes me look stupid as a listing agent.
Yeah. Stress me on that one. People would tell you. So as for closing procedures, I just make sure I leave the house as I got to it. If all the lights were off, all the windows were closed, and everything else, if I open everything, I just go back around and make sure I did whatever I did the opposite. Turn the lights off, close the windows, put the blinds down, turn the fans on, turn the AC down because it's going to be hot. So you always want to make sure that it's comfortable in there. And just make sure that I don't see anything different from when I initially did my walk.
build rapport with, the listing agents, if you're not a listing agent yet. It keeps you busy. I mean, Jose and Parham keep me busy on the weekends through open houses, so.
Yeah, I mean, touched on it already, but the whole, they have an agent, they don't have an agent. So if they're walking in and they just kind of give you that, yeah, I have an agent, do you feel them out and see if they actually do? Because I know I've heard it a lot. People will say that just to get you to not talk to them.
You'll get them all the
I'll
time.
ask, well, who's your agent? I know a lot, I have a lot of good friends in this area that are agents. And that's one way to kind of see who's faking.
That too. At that point, I just had, so I'm gonna let them in, great, you have an agent, they sent you here today, that's awesome, glad I could have them send you over here. Take a look around, and then I will again pick up for leave, I'll talk to them, we're seeing the house, blah, blah, blah. So what do you think? Do you think this house is gonna fit for you? Yeah, I think it is, great, you said you have an agent, right? Yeah, I do, his name is XYZ. Or at that point, there's like, we have an agent, it's a friend, we haven't really did too much. Great, so are you telling me you're open to interviewing? I like to use the word interviewing because it's I don't know. I just feel it's better. So they're like, actually, yeah, we are still interviewing. Awesome, I would love to interview for the position. Then I would get my information, get that information. Because yes, sometimes when they first walk in, they just don't know you. I don't want you to bother me. I don't want you to ask for my information. I know how you salespeople are. Because remember, we're still going to have that stigma. So your job is to overcome that and change that. So I'm like, great, I'm not going to bother you up front, but at the end, I'm going to give you my value, show you my value, and then I'm going to let you interpret if I can be needed.
One little thing before you guys all go today, I wanted to print this out. This is our open house standards that we've got up on. So yesterday showed you KW Sac Metro Hub, and you can go and put your open houses on there. This is a standard sheet that we kind of put together. It went over a lot of stuff they talked about today. But this is something we actually, Farm worked with us pretty heavy on this, and then we talked with a few of our listing agents here. Just things that you want to be mindful of. And like I said, pretty much everything they talked about today, the before, during, and after. So make sure you have that. And for those of you on Zoom, if you go to the open houses page on kwsacmetrohub.com and you scroll down to the bottom, there's a download of it.
Can I say something real quick? As far as safety goes, I'd like to touch on this
Yes.
because especially for ladies and gentlemen as well, I have a pepper spray in my purse at all times, especially when I'm doing an open house. It's pink, so it's also cute. So you can get a pepper spray really cheap. Also, when you first arrive, make sure you know what an alternate exit is or where an alternate exit is. I had an open house I did when I was with Lion a couple of years ago, and it was in East Sacramento. It wasn't a bad area, and I was there by myself doing the open house. And it was during one of the lulls where nobody was there. A gentleman who most likely had some mental illness and or was homeless walked in and then started being really inappropriate with me, asking me really inappropriate questions, started trying to touch me. And luckily, somebody walked in, another person walked in to see the open house, noticed I was feeling really uncomfortable because I really didn't know what to say. It's like, and I'm alone with him, how do I say, get the hell out of here? And, and I also know he's a little bit mentally unstable and or maybe on drugs. Luckily, the people who were at the open house kind of told him to get lost and try to help me. But it made me realize, do I know another way out? Where was the back door? Is it unlocked already? So I really encourage everybody, men and women, to, just in case, where is the back door and what is an escape plan? And always have pepper spray near you in an open house.
Perfect, Amy, because that's one thing we didn't touch on. I think that's absolutely
Great
what I want to talk about too. Because safety is very important. You guys keep in mind, we're in real estate. So people have this view of us that you're made of money. They're going to see you putting up your open house signs. So they're going to come in and you're going to have these random people. So with you first starting off, women and men, maybe have a partner. You maybe a lender. Maybe if you're like, hey, it's my first open house, I'm not that comfortable, I'm maybe going to an area I'm not too familiar with. Maybe see if you can get a partner, somebody who's going to go with you. Always have safety stuff, pepper spray, you're out. And then if you're there by yourself and you feel uncomfortable, and as we mentioned, like keep the door open, close the door. Hey, you know what? I'm sorry. If you see it right in front, kind of say, thank you.
Yeah, use your sixth sense. If
Yes.
you feel like something's weird, that means it's weird. Trust your
I
gut.
had somebody
Absolutely.
come, they said they were a mortgage lender, but I was like, nope, I'm not trying. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, I need to build business.
Yes,
Before, like,
there you go.
I was really giant house. It was that one.
Yeah.
And always have a charger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is.
And always have a charger, yes. You're like, oh my God, my
always
phone's
make
almost
sure your
dead.
devices are charged, your cell phone, your tablets. Make sure you have extra chargers. If you bring your laptop, make sure you have a charger. That's a
Yeah,
part
I was
of
by
it.
myself doing that one, and it was up like a private driveway, kind of up isolated, and I was like, this wasn't a great idea, and so I kind of like stood out front of the house, because there were so many doors in the house, like,
And
I was
always
like, I felt like someone could, like, I didn't know where that guy went, I was like, is he gone, like, did he go around, so there's no fencing, I'm like,
and always know where to
stand
put
up front.
your valuables as well.
Yeah.
So when you go there, you ladies, you bring a purse. Make sure you know where you're gonna fit it. Don't leave it out. Maybe like a cupboard underneath the sink. Know where it's at. Keep your keys handy to where you can easily get them if something would happen. You have to go. Cell phone charge, keys handy. Know where you put your personal belongings. Don't bring too much personal stuff inside. I always like to keep stuff in my trunk. I don't like to bring my wallet. I don't like to have anything valuable. I might even wear a watch. Just because I don't want people to have any type of eyes on me that if somebody is not supposed to be there and I feel uncomfortable, they're not gonna look like, oh, he has a nice watch, or oh, he has his bag out, maybe his laptop. So always be cognizant of this stuff.
Still keys.
I usually, when I'm doing open house by myself, I don't I make conversation in front of the house and
Okay.
I do that and I stay close to the door or like
Yep.
Yes.
just in the
Stay them
area.
halfway of the door.
Yes,
Yes.
I don't walk around with them. Another thing, if there's a basement, do not go. Or upstairs, just stay in the open area. Be in the same area. You never know.
No, yeah, and then say for example, say these restaurants. I always close it. Just because I don't want to be in the restaurant, I have people walking in and I never had a chance to greet them and kind of
Oh,
send
yeah.
them out. So my honey's back real quick, I'll go, I'll lock the door real quick, I'll just hurry up, go back, then I'll reopen it. I don't want people going in there when it's not disciplined.
I highly recommend having a lender with you, especially if you're new, not only for safety reasons, but for value reasons.
Yeah.
Especially if you're new, you might not know how to talk to your client and add too much value. And there's always going to be loan questions. So how much do you think the mortgage would be on this? They can answer that question for you. I have some lenders we're really good at piggybacking off each other. We're talking, and they pick up, and people just love us. They see us like a buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a buddy, kind of like watching a buddy movie. You love those guys when you see them.
And that's value, so that's another thing that's going to get you closer to an appointment.
And
as
safety.
you know, appointments is where you need contracts. And so if you can provide back that question, say, you know what, I have the perfect person right here for you. And if they can go in there and answer those loan questions and make some, I can do this, go for the close.
One rule of thumb I like to use, if I get a client from that open house, I like to, if they don't have a lender, I like to try to give them to that lender because that lender's putting in the work with me. That's just kind of something, you don't lose your client over it, but that's just something I like to try to provide my lenders. I wanted to kind of go out to the safety thing. If they're kind of reading you out, one thing I've been taught is to always watch the hands. Keep an eye on their hands. If they're making a fist or being kind of erratic, just keep your eye on their hands, their stature, how they're acting, and things like that. That's a really big sign. A telltale sign is what they're doing with their hands.
So shall we open this for Q&A real quick, because I know we're a little past time.
Past time, yeah. I mean, the other thing I did want to throw in on safety, I heard agents do this. They'll check in before and after with somebody, like
Yes.
they know lives in the neighborhood or whatever.
Yes. See, my team knows where I'm always at. Farm's going to know if I have an appointment. Wife knows where I'm at all the time. I would text my other colleagues like, hey, I'm at open house today, just to let you know this is where I'm at. Here's the address. And it's also good when you post on social media, people know where you're at. So if you're like, oh, outside these hours, in those hours, well, Jose's at open house right now. I can see online it's from 11 to 2. So with that, I know we're past time. Zoom line and in person. We'll keep it short, but I definitely want to open for Q&A. Do you guys have any questions for us? We'll start in person.
How much are those signs?
I think I paid about $1,200 for 25.
Where did you get them?
I'll put it on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you
Jack Pratt Designs. That's
I
what
can't,
it's-
it was one of the 3 that KW, when I first started, KW recommended.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Build my sign.
Build by signs by
is
one.
good. Paradise Signs
Paradise.
and Jack Pratt are pretty.
Okay.
Jack Pratt.
Build the Signs online only. Paradise is up in Paradise pretty much. Or sorry, not quite that far. It's up in Placer County. And then Jack Pratt's, I think.
Yeah, but they ship them from somewhere else though.
Yeah.
Just remember, I mean, had a couple deals in my belt, feeling kind of bougie, so I bought those. People are gonna run over your signs. People are gonna steal them, things like that. So keep that in mind when you're budgeting these things. Because that's one of my horror stories. I had in the driveway. This old realtor just comes flying up the driveway, and he just crashes my sign. I didn't say anything because I felt so embarrassed for him. Because he had his client under the car trying to pull his sign out, and it was stuck in their car. I was like, I'm not even gonna say anything. I was like, and all he said was, "Oh, sorry." I was like, that was it. So I was like, I already felt embarrassed for him. I was like, I don't want to make it happen for his client.
Any
What
other-
else?
Okay. Oh, I was saying, any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, the same thing I would say.
Oh.
Any other questions?
I'm just gonna say, like, when you guys are closing up, make sure that you actually check the windows, because I actually have had come in and unlock windows and test, test them, and then they've left them open, or they've shut them and not locked them back. Or people that you're kind of getting a weird light from, it's happened to me. They've unlocked it and walked out, and then they've gotten themselves more to the back of the yard where you can't see them.
Yeah.
So I'll keep it short on this one. I got a good example for that. There's one situation that I did a showing, and they left the door open in the garage, and they ended up coming back and accessing the house.
Accessing?
Accessing it.
Oh, access.
Accessing.
Okay,
No,
like-
I thought you meant
accessing the
ex-wife's
house.
birthday. That's terrible. So,
Just
put a
like
bump
Helen
there.
said, make sure you go check everything is locked, because people do open windows, all open doors, make sure it's locked.
I'm gonna say,
Safety.
I'm gonna say true story, Jonathan, about the sign, because he called me. It was one of our listings, I think. And he's like, Parb, someone just read over my sign. I didn't even know what to say to the guy. And true story with Jose, this was, mind you, a closing. So it wasn't even at an open house. It was a final walkthrough. So you would be surprised at what buyers and sellers do, but for early possession, this buyer wanted early possession, and they decided to leave that. So it is your job as an agent to always make sure that the premises is secured, because you'd be surprised. And we're talking about people that you know and have known for 30, 60 days that will do crazy stuff. Imagine what people that you don't know will do, right? So just be careful, because you represent yourself. You're also an extension of the listing agent, and you're an extension of the market center, right? We want to be known in the community as KW agents that know what they're doing, know how to host open houses, know their due diligence and ethical behavior. And so let's just watch each other's backs. Fair?
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Thank
Before
you
you-
so much. First of all, to the three of you guys, this was absolutely a wealth of knowledge. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules, guys, to be so open with this class in person and in Zoom land. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Before
for having us.
we go, you guys on Zoom land too. It's pretty common for me to have agents shout at me at my open houses. About half my open houses, I have a new agent with me. They kind of hang out with me a couple hours to see how I place my signs. They see how me and then to talk with people and we just kind of give like real life tips. You guys feel free to reach out to me. You guys can find me on our KW Facebook page, or give my number, or add me on Facebook, however you guys like. If you guys want to shout at me, you guys are more than welcome.
And if you guys have not followed Jenny yet, check out her marketing.
It's
Jenny's
killer.
awesome at this, I'm telling you.
Do you have the script that you do at the open house that you can borrow?
You know, I don't have the script because it's kind of been with time scripts, and I kind of adjusted it, seeing what works for me. If you ever want to get together, anybody at Zoom Line too, if you guys want to maybe do like a little open house mastermind, if you want to talk more, let me know. We can always set that up, and I'm always here to give value to you.
Down for that.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Zoom Line.
Well, thank you guys for coming. Let's take our seat.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have any questions since you guys got here in person?
Yeah.
You guys any questions or anything?
I had a homeless guy show up to my open house before
Yeah.
in downtown Sac. He was like, open house. He was like,